Yo guys, what is going on? Welcome back to a brand new video here on the channel today. It is the end of the footballing season. You know what? I thought I'd bring some footballing content to the channel at the end of the season. Manchester United. A couple of weeks ago, we did the keep, loan, sell for Manchester United based on this season. Now we've gone through the whole season. The season is complete. We're doing our Manchester United grading. I would have done it a rating through from 10 to 1, but no, I'd rather do it this way. It's just too many tiers to go through. So we got S tier, that's basically top of the class, and then all the way down to U. And certainly there's going to be some players in U. Certainly on, this is not on player ability. This is purely how I think they've performed this season. Now, there will be a bit of comparison to how well I think they could perform in compared to what they have done. But let's kick things off. We've got the same group of players as we did for the stay, loan, sell. And this is only going to be based on performances in a Manchester United. For example, the likes of Mason Greenwood and Sancho, I'm not going to be basing their grading on what they did for Getafe or what they did for Borussia Dortmund. It's going to be purely based on what they did for Manchester United. So first, again, we got two Inanas. That's really annoying. We're just going to put any player who hasn't really played or hasn't played for Manchester United into ungraded, because I can't give them a grade, which is why U is here. So Alvaro Fernandez goes in there as well. This isn't including pre-season, by the way. This is just throughout the domestic season. Who else we got here? Has Pellistri played this season? I think he might have done. I recall seeing him. Has he played any time this season? I think he might have done. Scholler goes there. Hannibal, I think, did play a little bit for this season. Malacia has to go in there. Where is Sancho? Sancho did. He has played a Warren United shirt this season. It'll be Mason Greenwood, the only other one we need to pick out. Why can I not see Mason Greenwood? Am I just going blind? Oh no, here he is. Mason Greenwood in there. None of those have played for us this season, as far as I'm aware anyway. Malacia definitely not. Greenwood definitely not. Scholler definitely not. For the senior team anyway. They're listed as senior players on the Manchester United website. They're the ones I've taken. Any others who might have made like one cameo appearance aren't going to be on the list. So we're starting off with Omari Forson. To be honest, he hasn't really done much, hasn't he? He hasn't really seen any opportunity in the first team. He needs a loan, so I can't really judge him too fairly, but from the time he has played, he hasn't actually looked that bad. So I'm going to put him middle of the road. We're going to put Omari Forson for the times that he has had an opportunity. I think he's looked alright. And C is alright, isn't it? Luke Shaw, well, what can you say about Luke Shaw? He's had a bit of a disastrous season, really. Didn't start the season fit. Got fit. I've just leaked all over myself. Sorry. Started the season not fit. Got fit. Got injured. Got fit. Got injured. Hasn't really played that much football. He's probably only played a handful of times for us this season. He's been a bit of an underwhelming one. When he has played, he's been not at his best. I just think he's struggled with fitness this season. So I think I'm going to put him maybe in D. I'll leave him in D for now. Next we got Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, he's had an alright season. Definitely not one of his best seasons. I know that his numbers look good, but he's taken the captaincy on this year, and I don't know, I just think his leadership at times has been, a bit petulant, especially at the start of the season. It was throwing the hands up in the air and You know, he's been available, which is, you know, I have to put him somewhere high up, given that he's been available for the squad. But I don't think I can justify him being an S. I don't think anyone is going to be. Well, maybe one player could be an S. No, I think if I had to put him, I'd put him at a B plus. I think he'll probably be at the very heights of B. But to be honest, not many players are going to be an A or S. You know, that's... Oh, I've seen another player who can go in here. Donny. He hasn't played for us this season either. Oh, actually, did Donny play any time this season? Ooh, that is a very, very good question. Let me just have a look. I don't recall him playing any time for us this season. But he might have done. He might have made an appearance. 23, 24. Yes. He did make an appearance in the League Cup. And he did make an appearance in the Premier League. So he can be rated. Let's just rate him now, because it was very forgettable whatever he did. I'm going to put Donny. I mean, F's a little bit harsh, but I'm going to have to put him down there, because it's just not worked for him at Manchester United. He doesn't fit us. He hasn't ever had, you know, it's the injuries, and he just doesn't fit in. People thought Ten Hag could be able to make him fit in. He hasn't. And even if we were contributing his, you know, his Bundesliga appearances, he's only made 8 Bundesliga appearances since he joined Frankfurt. And he hasn't got any goals, and he hasn't had any assists. So, yeah, it's not looking good for Donny, and he needs to fix up. Martial, I'm gonna have to put Martial in a, you know, the injuries and the fitness and it's just not been very good for Martial this season. I mean, he hasn't had great seasons, if I'm going to be honest. If we're looking at Anthony Martial, this season he's played 13 times. He scored 1 goal. Well, no, total he's had 19 appearances, and he scored twice. Which, yeah, it's not good, is it? It's not good. Let me go to players here and go down to Martial. Yeah, it's if we go to stats. Season stats, yeah, he scored 2 goals. Only 2 goals, which isn't great. Doesn't show his assists, so I'm going to presume he didn't have any, but yeah, it's good that he's moving on, Martial, because I don't think he's, you know, with not being available for the majority of the season, I can't put him anywhere above. You know, all these players that haven't been available, they might have played well, but they haven't been available, so I can't put them in having, you know, an okay. The highest I can put them is C. You can't have a good season where you've only played 10 times. It's just not possible. Amrabat is a bit of a strange one. He struggled with a few injuries. He had to cover in left back, where he did a dreadful job. But, you know, towards the latter end of the season, where he was used in the correct position, and in the FA Cup final, he was all right. But has he had a good season? No. Has his season been better than Luke Shaw? Yes. So I guess I'd put him in D. If we're going from, you know, to put these in words, S would be superb, you know, pretty much flawless. A would be they've been great. B would be they've been pretty good. C would be they're alright. D would mean kind of they've been okay, but not great. E would be they've been poor. F would be forgettable, and U would be I can't give you a grade. You know, F would be one to forget. E would be you've been really bad. Or, you know, kind of a meh, bad, really bad. And Marcus Rashford, in terms of what he's added this season, I mean, I guess you'd probably put him above Martial, but you know, he's been available for a lot of the season, but he's just been forgettable in a lot of matches. His attitude, his work rate, you know, I'm pissed off of it. I'm very much in a camp of, I think Rashford needs to leave and, you know, seek ventures new. You know, he reportedly held us at ransom to say, give me the money that I want or I'm going to leave. We gave him the money once one season. Oh, and guess what? He doesn't play well. We didn't get Champions League and he's back down to just over 200 grand a week. So he's not on that 300 grand a week contract anymore. And he's going in because, you know, compared to the player we know he is, he's been a shadow of himself this season. And, you know, if he is going to stay next year, he needs to fix up because he's going to cost us games. Mason Mount, another hard one to grade. You know, hasn't been available for the majority of the season. When he has played, has he looked that good? No, in my opinion. Has he been that great? None of our players have been that great this season. From the times I've seen Mason Mount, has Mason Mount played better than Marcus Rashford this season? When he's been playing, no, he hasn't, in my opinion. I think he's down there in E. Just because he's not been available, and the times he has been available, he hasn't exactly done much. You know, if E is being graded, if D is being graded as meh, and E is being graded as, you know, not been very good, I don't think Mason Mount has been very good. So he's down in E for me as well. Victor Lindelof, again, just injury problems. Had to cover at left back. Did he do an alright job at left back? Yes. But again, he just hasn't done much for me. Can I put him up here? You know, at least when Luke Shaw was playing, he looked alright. He didn't look great, but he looked alright. When Amrabat's been playing, has he been great? No, but he's had some moments. I think it's really hard, but you know Lindelof, he's only a squad player. In terms of what a squad player should be doing, I think I'd have to grade him at the bottom of D because he's just, with the injuries not being available, and when he's played, he's just been, You know, he hasn't been good. He hasn't been all right. When he's been on the pitch, he hasn't been all right. But is it all his fault? No, it's not. McTominay. What do I say about McTominay? A lot of people won't like where I'm going to put him. But I'm going to put him at the top of D. I think he's just been a meh. Just a meh. You know, he's been available for the majority of the season. He scored a few goals. But apart from that, he's offered nothing on the pitch, really. He's just run about and been there when we needed him. Time for Onana next. Another really tricky one because he's had some good moments and he's had some really bad moments. And I feel like Onana is either really good or he's shocking. And if that's the case, I'm going to put him ahead of McTominay because he offers more than McTominay. But from the times I've seen him, I think he's going to have to be in D. He's just been meh. He single-handedly cost us the Champions League. Let's not forget that. His goalkeeping errors, if we'd have had a goalkeeper who was on the ball, we would have been qualified through the Champions League group stage. So for me, he can't go any higher than being a D. Just a meh season. No, do you know what? I'm going to put him up here. I'm going to put him into C. The very bottom of C. A C minus. Jadon Sancho, I'm going to put him in F. You know, I think his time at Manchester United this season is probably one to forget for him. Hasn't contributed anything off the pitch and just created loads of drama off the pitch. So he's going in F. Even worse than Donny. Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka is such a strange one because I don't think he's good enough to play for Manchester United, if I'm being honest. You know, he has been available for the majority of the season. Does he give more? Has he had a better season than Scott McTominay? Probably about the same. I'd probably rate him a high D. You know, if Amrabat, he's the middle D, these two are a high D, and these two be a low D. I think he's a high D. He's very close to having, an O. CD is a pretty okay and just sort of the E's and the F's are the bad. The CD are just kind of bit better for C and a for D. But above average, below average, and he's below average for me, Wan-Bissaka. Dalot, yeah, I think Dalot's had a pretty good season. Right, I've totally lost my train of thought now. Yes, Diogo Dalot. He's been one of our bright sparks this season. Would I put him in the A? Would I put him ahead of has he had a better season than Bruno Fernandes, in my opinion? Yes, but it's not all Bruno's fault, because Bruno Fernandes has had to play out position because of having this bloke next to him in the park. I would put Dalot into the A. Bruno Fernandes is very close to an A. I don't think he's had a very good season. I think he's had a very, 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 very close to getting into A for Bruno. But Dalot, I think, has been one of our best players this season. He's made a few mistakes, but I'm still going to give him an A. Martinez, again, hasn't been available. He's probably only played about 20% of our games. But when he does play, he is very good. But because of all the injuries, I can't put him any higher than being there. Over the overall season, if you're not available, then you can't have a good season when you're not available. He's the very top of C, but when you're not available, whether it's through his fault or not, I can't warrant putting him any higher than C. Brandon Williams, another player who hasn't been here, so he can go there. Johnny Evans, I think when we've needed him, I think I'd have to put Johnny Evans there. I think Johnny Evans has had a good season. Not a very good season, but, for the job that we needed him to do, he's done far more than I thought he would do. I think he's got to be up there with B. Bayindir, very, very hard to rank Bayindir because he's only had the one opportunity, and when he played, he didn't have that much to do. I'm going to put him in D. Actually, that feels very harsh. I'm going to put him in C, purely because he hasn't had any opportunities in the squad. Onana has taken all the opportunities, but the one game he did have, he was all right. And the C is the all right tier, so there we go. Hannibal hasn't really had much time here, but when he did play, he was all right. I'll throw him at the bottom of D just because he didn't get many opportunities when he was here, and I can't really say much about his stats. So there we go. Anthony, what do we do with Anthony? He's been a bit piss poor this season, hasn't he? He's almost on the level with Rashford. He hasn't been good this season, Anthony, and for that reason, I'm gonna have to put him down in E. I'd have to grade him an E because I just don't think he's been up to standard required. So that's him. Pellistri, again, I'd probably have to put him in E. Hasn't had the opportunities, but when he did have any opportunity to play, did he do much? No, not really. Not for me. Garnacho, been one of our better players this season. He's had a good season. He's up there, Bruno Fernandes, I think. Better than Johnny Evans. Probably not an A, but I don't think it's any of his fault because again he's been playing very much out of position for me. So yeah, I think he deserves to be up there in B. Ahmad next up. Ahmad. Again, sadly, hasn't really had many opportunities, but when he has, he's definitely taken them. So for me, Ahmad hasn't really played much. I'm going to put Ahmad at the bottom of B because I think he's been our best option over at right wing for the whole season. We played best, I think, when he's been playing on the right hand side. So I think that warrants a B for me. He hasn't played very often, but he had an injury. But when he came back from that injury, he's made an impact. You know, he got the winner against Liverpool, and you know he had a good few league games. So I put him at, you know, I think in terms of when he's been on the pitch, I think he's been good. Rasmus Højlund next. I'm going to put Rasmus Højlund in C, which isn't, you know, I'm not saying he's had a bad season, but he hasn't had a. He's been okay. He's been okay, Rasmus. Again, he's the fitness problems. You know, it's very hard for a striker at Manchester United to get anything higher than a C, just because we don't have the players around him who are giving him the ball. You know, but it's his first season. He's you know, he scored more than 10 goals. You know, I'm impressed. Hopefully we can get some better players in around him that are going to want to give him the ball, and we'll see the best of him. Kobbie Mainoo has come in after Christmas, and he has been exceptional. He hasn't done anything wrong, in my opinion. But is he going to go in S? Scored a goal in the FA Cup final. In terms of what we thought he was going to do, he goes in S. Because this is an 18, 19-year-old who's come into that midfield and is now by far, I think, our best midfielder of this season. I think Mainoo has had a better season than Bruno Fernandes. So he's going in S. Casemiro. It's an F for Casemiro, I'm afraid. It's an F. Not an F. I'm going to give him an E. You know, he's been piss poor this season. He has been rubbish, and it's time to move on. Christian Eriksen. I mean, he's been available. Other than that, he doesn't add anything for me. He does. I can't even put him there. I think he'd have to be on level with Casemiro. He's just past the best of his career and needs to move on. Rafa Varane. Yeah, you know what? I think when Varane plays, we've looked better in defence. So, again, injury problems. I'd probably put him at the top of C. Do you know what? No, that's harsh. I'm going to put Varane at B. I think when Varane plays, we play better. So I'm going to put Varane in a low B. I can't put him anywhere higher because, again, he's not been available at some points, but he's going to go there. Harry Maguire. I think Maguire goes into B as well. I think Maguire's had, in a United shirt, I think he's had a good season. And, Dan Gore, he'll go down in probably a D because he didn't really get any opportunities, but the one or two he got, I think he looked all right. So I think I maybe put Amari a bit too high. Maybe I put Amari down here in the... no, I'd probably put Amari down at the bottom of C with Dan Gore. In terms of what they've done in a United shirt, I think they've been all right. But yeah, that's probably where I'd leave my list here. So yeah, that's going to draw an end to the video. A season to forget United, given that we haven't had any players who've been very good this season, apart from, in my opinion, Dalot and Mainoo. And all the others have just had a good season, an okay season, a meh season, and a lot of players. Worrying for me is that the majority, maybe not, maybe disclude Palestri because he hasn't been here for half the season. But, for the full season, we got a lot of players here, a lot of international players. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 internationals who have had a bad season. Just looking. Anyone I want to change? No. I'm going to leave that there then, guys. So thank you all very much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to drop us a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.